Hello, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Can you please introduce yourself for our community?
Of course. Hello. My name is Tyrese Mitchem. I'm a RAY Fellow at Ocean Conservancy working in government relations, and I am part of cohort 9.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyrese. So, can you please describe a moment or milestone in your journey that stands out to you the most?
Yeah, absolutely. So, certainly, I would say a milestone at Ocean Conservancy that stands out to me is the United States of Plastics report that we released in July. That is just up there with one of the biggest projects I've taken on in just my professional career ever. I remember spending so much time working, going through all the legislations on the state level through all the states, including DC. I'm very new to the government relations space and the policy space, so all of it was very much a learning curve for me, trying to understand how all these policies fit together, how to even access and navigate these state websites. So pulling it all together took a lot of time and effort and influence from a bunch of different people in the team. But what came afterwards was a product that I was immensely proud of and things that I can still, brag and talk about today. So I was very appreciative of that experience, and it serves as like a great milestone in my career.
That's awesome and extremely impressive. And you're in your second year now, as a Ray Fellow. So, what has surprised you so much, so far as being a part of a Ray Fellowship?
Yeah, great question. So I would say, and to start, actually, I've done several fellowships in the past throughout school, throughout my adolescence, and a little bit in like my young professional career. And for the most part, I've noticed like a consistent lack of cohesion and community when it comes to those spaces. So what I've been used to is coming into a fellowship, pretty much just throwing it on my resume and taking whatever resources they have afterwards, but not really doing anything much during the fellowship. Whereas here, I've been thoroughly impressed by the actual genuine connection that has been fostered by the folks at ELP. A time that comes to my mind was the most recent ELP outing that we did in the Pacific Northwest, where we had a bunch of different individuals from the RAY program, the Doris Duke program, and the ELP program to come together and just build community, talk with one another in the beautiful place, which is Whidbey Island. I remember just it being a phenomenal time, and conversations were flowing so seamlessly, and it just served as such great added support on top of the important work that we were talking about. So it feels good to do important work while also communicating and building communicate community with important people around me.
Yes, that was a great time. I still think about it to this day. I'm always like, can I teleport myself back up there? Because it was so
Yeah.
pretty. But yeah, speaking of community and support, so far in your Ray Fellowship journey, has there been any relationships that mean a lot to you that have really stood out to you, and how what kind of support have you been receiving?
Yes, absolutely. Um, One person who has stood out to me immensely since the start of my fellowship has been my mentor, Grace. Uh, she was in the cohort right before me, and she graduated just recently, but Grace has supported me so well throughout this entire fellowship. We've had so many calls where she's bestowed upon me so much information on how to navigate the professional space, how to talk to supervisors in regards to difficult conversations, important conversations, how to just like ask for support or how to take on more projects, and also has just given me a lot of advice with other personal things. Recently, I've decided to start training for a marathon, and she has been a running fanatic for the longest. She actually just completed her marathon in Philadelphia recently. So just being able to talk with her about how to build a program around running has been really helpful. So it feels really good to just have a person in my life that I could just communicate and talk to on a whole diverse range of things. As well as there's another person in my life who has been very influential through this program, is actually with my host organization, Andrew Hartzig. who is the senior director for our Arctic program at Ocean Conservancy. And he has been an amazing, delightful person to talk to, even being, what is it, 4 hour time difference away in Anchorage. He's been able to set up so many different calls with me and just be able to talk and discuss my passions for environmental law and offshore oil and gas, to be able to touch base on projects that I'm working on and things that I'm passionate about, or even in his case, talk about swimming and other fitness goals of ours. It's been really delightful. So both of those people have been like extremely helpful in my career, as well as so many other people that, I could name, but we would be here for like hours, but it's been great.
That's awesome. I love that you have like a pool of people that you can pull from, and shout out to Grace. I didn't know she was such a runner. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So why would you say that community matters? Like having this community in the kind of work that we do, why would you say that that matters? And like how does this ELP Ray ecosystem and community, how does that support you and why is that important?
I would say that community really matters because that is the base where change begins to happen. Through my work, we've actually been doing a book club through this book, How Change Happens. It's been a really phenomenal book in discussing all the different social movements throughout the last couple decades and what different aspects really make them super impactful when it comes to trying to accomplish very important societal changes. And one thing that they really drive home in that book throughout all sectors is that change really happens on the local level. An important quote that they say is that change doesn't happen in DC, change comes to DC. And so I think it's really important to take that into consideration before we try to, press out a certain bill or try to get something across like the federal finish line. It's like you can't just advocate for those things at the very end. You need to get the people talking about it. You need to build community, talk to people, understand what issues they're passionate about, what issues they're seeing in their lives, and from there build a, base where we can actually go somewhere with that. Um, I would say the ELP program definitely does a great job with that because in all the different opportunities that I have to talk with my fellow members in the ELP, in the RAY program, we're always talking about what's going on in the world, what's really impacting us, but we also take opportunities to just really discuss what we might be able to do about it. And I think that's really important. It's a very crazy time. So, the solution isn't always apparent. Sometimes it's just enough to vent about how crazy things are, but being able to build that community, that trust really will, you know, set us up great for the future when we do find the opportunity to seize things that can really make effective change.
Yes, and speaking on these current times, we are living in a moment where environmental justice, DEI, climate leadership, and all of that are under pressure. So, why do programs like Ray matter right now?
Yeah. Um, when I hear this question, I think about where I was before I applied, and I was so scared of where I was going to end up. It was, very uncertain time. I wasn't sure where I was going to go or how I was going to take the next step in my professional career. And that's when I found the RAY program and applied and was provided with this absolutely fantastic opportunity to travel across the United States from California to DC to take up this role. And since then, I've done incredible things with my host organization. I've been able to travel to New York, Delaware, Florida to get certified. I've done a lot of really incredible things that I'm so grateful for and so appreciative of the people in my life. I think had I not had that opportunity, it would have been very hard for me, to try to land on my feet as a young professional in this space. I know for a lot of my fellow cohort colleagues in my undergraduate career, a lot of them were just as passionate, just as intelligent and caring towards the environment as I was. But a lot of them were still having difficulty finding jobs even now because of how crazy things are. And I think with the reduction in helpful programs such as this, those very passionate individuals who care about the environment, who want to make effective changes, are going to have a lot more difficult time trying to be able to accomplish that. And we're going to see a reduction in the efforts to make effective change in the environment.
Yeah, I agree with you. Can you talk a little bit more about what the risk is if programs like RAY and the Environmental Leadership Program, if they're not supported and funded? Like, what does that world look like?
What risks come if programs like RAY and ELP are not supported and funded? We are going to see a significant reduction in Black and Brown Indigenous leaders in the environmental space, which is already predominantly white from what we can see. And when it comes to environmental catastrophes, climate change, the people who are bearing the biggest brunt of these huge conflicts are often Black, Brown, Indigenous, low income communities. And so, if we want to see effective change happening in those areas, we need people who are significantly impacted to be a part of the problem making solution, the problem solving solution.
Yeah, awesome. So as an environmental leader yourself, how do you hope to move through the world as an environmental leader, especially once you become a senior fellow? Like what are your plans? What are your outlook on the future? What do you hope to accomplish and achieve and become after moving through the Ray Fellowship program?
Yeah. Um, so it's a crazy time in terms of where I'm going to be exactly, still remains to be seen. But when it comes to being an environmental leader, I know that I still want to take priority on making community, on fostering and supporting those around me. So anything I can do to help support the next cohort of environmental leaders coming, I want to be a mentor to those people or a support for them to lean on if they ever have any questions or if they ever need anything from me. I think that is a priority of mine when it comes to becoming an environmental leader afterwards, but generally just continue building that community, continue working with individuals on the local and state level and on the federal level if we can still as well. But yeah, that's what I hope to accomplish as a senior fellow.
Oh, I love to hear it. And I have no doubt that you will do all of that and more after getting to know you. I have full faith in our future being in your hands for sure. So my last question is for you to complete this phrase. So ELP plus me equals.
I would say ELP in me equals confidence in moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyrese. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Nia. Take care.
Take care.